original. The Ron Fez Show continues.
It's the Ron and Fez Show coming up a little later on in the show. The 866 Ron Zero Fez, 866 Ron Zero Fez. That's our phone number. And this, of course, is a call-in show where you call that number and then we speak to you. I don't like those goddamn TV personalities who have no time for you. I've never once talked to Dave Letterman. Why? He won't give out the number. I'll get it, though. One day I'll get it. Big Rob Ford blowing up in the club. Chris Stanley, I know you're a big fan of the mayor of Toronto.
Love Rob Ford.
He now is taking it to the clubs. He's got a dance hit that's popping pretty big. We'll play a little bit of it for you.
To release this video. Your mayor has sold crack. It is what it is, and I can't change the past. And I don't know. Have I tried? Yes, it's my mistake. I know I have no crack left. I know the crack was wrong. Rob Ford. Folks, I'll do anything for more. Drunken stupors, alcohol. Rob Ford. It's a fact. I smoke crack. I don't recall. I wanna be high and smoke now. And I want to smoke 1,000 pounds. The city has the best crack. I'm busy, man. Keen, unexplained, unloved.
Has anyone ever been a mayor and also had a hit song in the clubs?
No, that has never happened. Rob Ford is a trailblazer and a rock blazer.
That's good, Chris. Chris Stanley, wordplay. Chris Stanley, wordplay, Fez.
It's fun to play along.
866 Ron Zero Fez, 866 Ron Zero Fez. In a little while, we will be giving out this prize.
Fa-la-la, it's Ron and Fez's Million Days of Christmas. Meet us under the mistletoe to win today's prize, Season 1 of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, signed by Sarah Michelle Gellar. It's Christmas, the trees, the lights, possibly ending up in the men's room stall with a guy from sales after a drunken office party. All the traditional things. It's Ron and Fez's Million Days of Christmas.
All right. We thought we'd try to get the hashtag game going. We haven't played that in a couple of weeks. Old school Fez, if somebody made a mistake, it was a boner. Do you remember when people used to say that?
Oh, yeah, big screw up.
And it was always one of my favorite things in school when the teacher would say something like, "Hey, that's my fault. That's my boner." And we would all... Oh, God!
He said it!
He just said his boner! And it was just so ridiculously fun as for kids because the teacher wasn't picking up on the fact that a boner is also a hard-on. So I was thinking, could it be possible? Is the Ron and Fez audience strong enough that we could get to go viral Obama's great big boner? Is there a possibility that we could come up with hashtag Obama's great big boner? 866 Ron Zero Fez, 866 Ron Zero Fez. I'll come up with the first one. Taking Joe Biden to get his hair plug. Hashtag Obama's great big boner. Fezzy, you got one.
I would say hiring Kathleen Sebelius to run a website when she can't run a calculator. Hashtag Obama's great big boner.
Okay, see, we're going. This is I don't know whether you guys have ever been at the start of a wave, because I deep sea fish, and I see where the waves start, and I could tell if a surfable wave is only a couple inches big, it will eventually become a big roaring wave. I'm starting to pick up on this right now. 866 Ron Zero Fez, 866 Ron Zero Fez. With you guys with Twitter feeds, feel free to go to Twitter and hashtag Obama's great big boner. Now, if we were able to get this thing up and running, we'll be legends. Forever. Because later people will go, they'll see the hashtag Obama's great big boner, think it may be his penis. Chris Stanley.
Trusting the NSA. Hashtag Obama's great big boner.
Trusting the NSA.
Yeah.
Hashtag Obama's great big boner. I'm going to watch as these start to come in. This is an interesting one right off the bat, and it's maybe a little more New York centric, but this has already come in from Michael Harris. Not having a son with a great big afro. Hashtag Obama's great big boner. Boner, not bone. Hashtag Obama's great big boner. 866 Ron Zero Fez. 866 Ron Zero Fez. Here's Nick in Tennessee. You're on the Ron and Fez show.
Obamacare. Hashtag Obama's great big boner.
Obamacare. Hashtag Obama's great big boner. 866 Ron Zero Fez. 866 Ron Zero Fez. Here's Aaron in California. You're on the Ron and Fez show.
You know, Obama could have gotten a pit bull, but he got that Portuguese water dog. Hashtag Obama's great big, hairy, wet, black.
No. You're already out because you got to do it properly to get it to move in. 866 Ron Zero Fez. 866 Ron Zero Fez. Here's Matt. Matt, you're on the Ron and Fez show.
Building a statue in tribute to growing pains. Hashtag Obama's great big boner.
That was really, seriously, that was a problem. All right, it's picking up. We're starting to get into this. Foggy Otis came up with continued war on drug. Hashtag Obama's great big boner. Buying a pack of non-menthol Newports. Hashtag Obama's great big boner. You can keep your health care plan. Hashtag Obama's great big boner. Boning Michelle. Hashtag Obama's great big boner. 866 Ron Zero Fez. 866 Ron Zero Fez. Already having a trouble with the phones, so because they're blowing up over here. So let me jump into back online. Sending guns to Mexico, thinking that they would use them for hunting. Hashtag Obama's great big boner. It's not the drones. It's hashtag Obama's great big boner. You can keep the healthcare if you suck on. Hashtag Obama's great big boner. His presidency isn't the only thing that's long and hard. Hashtag Obama's great big boner. Here's Tom, who just says not smoking crack. Hashtag Obama's great big boner. I would agree with that because we love our politicians to smoke crack. 866 Ron Zero Fez. 866 Ron Zero Fez. Hey, Greg, you're on the Ron and Fez show.
Benghazi. What about Benghazi? Obama's
Hashtag Obama's great big boner.
Dana, you're on the Ron Fez show.
Yes, killing a terrorist before interrogating a terrorist. Hashtag Obama's great big boner.
Here's Brent. Brent in D.C., you're on the Ron Fez show.
Running for a second term. Hashtag Obama's great big boner.
Here's Adam. Adam, you're on the Ron Fez show.
Running on hope. Hashtag Obama's big boner.
You know, the word hope doesn't get brought up much anymore. Brandon, what do you got for me, buddy?
Obama cutting food stamps. Hashtag Obama's great big boner.
Here's Cliff. Cliff, you're on the Ron Fez show.
Rob Lomi. Hashtag Obama's great big boner.
I'm not sure if I would throw both of those in, but you gotta like it. Tony, you're on the Ron Fez show.
Apple pie or menthol, you choose. Hashtag Obama's great big boner.
Let's go to John in Indiana. You're on the Ron Fez show.
It was funny when he said that he bowled like a retard. Hashtag Obama's great big boner.
I bowl like a retard.
I mean, it's true, but he shouldn't have said it.
Yeah, well, most of the things are true we shouldn't say. That's why you'll never ever hear somebody, a president, step up and say, "Oh my God, you should have heard my fart last night. I thought I fucking heard a kidney squirt out." Trying to play basketball. Hashtag Obama's great big boner. That's from Peter. Dom says he will be more popular if he puts out a sex tape. Hashtag Obama's great big boner. Appointing that murdering pig of a Secretary of State. Hashtag Obama's great big boner. The one thing left in our pockets is hashtag Obama's great big boner. Nothing but the truth. Hashtag Obama's great big boner, because it might be yours. Hashtag Obama's great big boner. Hop online and do this and hit your friends and neighbors up when you like them with a retweet. And let's see if we can't get this one going out there.
And add at the iBang to your hashtag Obama's great big boner tweets.
Thinking he can change Washington. Hashtag Obama's great big boner. What's in America's ass? Hashtag Obama's great big boner. Taking Osama bin Laden on a scuba diving trip. Hashtag Obama's great big boner. Let's go over to Jack. Jack, what do you got, buddy?
Hey, the part of him that's definitely not white. Hashtag Obama's great big boner.
Kevin, you're on the Ron Fez show.
Joe Biden's worst fear. Hashtag Obama's great big boner.
Ryan, what do you got for me?
Hope doesn't float. Hashtag Obama's great big boner.
Mike in L.A., what do you got?
Wearing mom jeans and photo ops to relate to the youth of America. Obama's great big boner.
Crunch, what do you got, buddy?
Losing Oliver Stone's face. Hashtag Obama's great big boner.
Poor Oliver. Mike, you're on the Ron Fez show.
Yes, we can. Hashtag Obama's great big boner.
Jay in Canada, you're on the Ron Fez show.
Hey, Ronnie.
Yeah.
What's long and hard and full of semen? Hashtag Obama's great big boner.
Mike in Delaware, you're on the Ron Fez show.
Pulling out of Iraq. Hashtag Obama's great big boner.
866 Ron Zero Fez. 866 Ron Zero Fez. Comparing his fantasy son to Trayvon. Hashtag Obama's great big boner. Keeping a leash on that crazy old fuck Biden. Hashtag Obama's great big boner. Not securing Morgan Freeman to play him during news scrums. Hashtag Obama's great big boner. Having MSNBC as cheerleaders. Hashtag Obama's great big boner. A black man with the worst hook shot in the history of basketball. Hashtag Obama's great big boner. Knowing more about Kim Kardashian than his own administration. Hashtag Obama's great big boner. Get it up on Twitter. Fez was right. Put in an at the iBang with some of these, so it'll be easy for us to read along and pick a winner. And retweet some of the ones that go out there, and let's see if we can't spin it viral. Here's our buddy Arch. What do you got?
Doesn't make you a bad person. Hashtag Obama's big boner.
Dominic, what do you got?
Obama thinks he's American. Hashtag Obama's big boner.
Drew, what do you got for me, buddy?
Yes, we can make fun of. Hashtag Obama's great big boner.
Dave, you're on the Ron and Fez show.
Having sleepovers with John Boehner. Hashtag Obama's great big boner.
You can win on Ron and Fez's Million Days of Christmas. Tweet what you think is Obama's big boner. Hashtag Obama's great big boner. Leaning too far to the left? Hashtag Obama's great big boner. You can win Season 1 of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, signed by Sarah Michelle Gellar. That's on the line. It's the Million Days of Christmas from the Ron and Fez show. Hashtag Obama's great big boner.
Here's a couple of them. Fez says I was a 6. Hashtag Obama's great big boner. Promising hope and change. Hashtag Obama's great big boner. Most transparent government ever. Hashtag Obama's great big boner. Tommy, you're on the Ron and Fez show. Tommy, what do you got?
Tommy in Connecticut, yeah.
Yeah.
You already stole my thunder. I was saying government transparency.
Here's Sean. What do you got?
Free cell phones. Hashtag Obama's great big boner.
Don in Alaska, you're on the Ron and Fez show.
What is bigger, Kim Kardashian's ass or hashtag Obama's great big boner?
Chris, what do you got, buddy? Let's go to Joe in New York. You're on the Ron and Fez show.
Not using Ja Rule's prison recipes. Hashtag Obama's great big boner.
Mike in Queens.
Do they serve half terms here? Hashtag Obama's big fat boner.
Blake, what do you got?
No child left behind. Hashtag Obama's great big boner.
Dave in California.
Obama falling down the stairs when going down Air Force One. Hashtag Obama's great big boner.
Tim in Texas. Tim in Texas.
Monkey House rocks. He rocks a badass. Hashtag Obama's great big boner.
866 Ron Zero Fez. 866 Ron Zero Fez. Not saving McDonald's dollar menu. Hashtag Obama's great big boner. Thinking he could throw an opening pitch. Hashtag Obama's great big boner. Where's the birth certificate? Hashtag Obama's great big boner. White Mama says what? Hashtag Obama's great big boner. Hashtag Obama's great big boner is why Michelle is always scowling. Yes, we can. Hashtag Obama's great big boner. Not being able to conjure up a thought without a teleprompter. Hashtag Obama's great big boner. It's all brown. If it's brown, it's down. Except hashtag Obama's great big boner. Gets a Nobel Peace Prize while Commander-in-Chief of 2 wars. Hashtag Obama's great big boner. 2 girls, 1 cup. Hashtag Obama's great big boner. Mike in Wisconsin, what do you got, buddy?
What shut the government down? Hashtag Obama's great big boner.
Alan in Kansas, what do you got for me, pal?
It's not my fault, it's Bush's. Hashtag Obama's great big boner.
Kent, what do you got, buddy?
I think I can trust that guy Putin, and man, he looks great without his shirt. Hashtag Obama's great big boner.
Stuart, what do you got for me, buddy?
Hope in my eye. Hashtag Obama's great big boner.
JR in Texas, you're on the Ron and Fez show.
Calling Hillary Kathy Kankles. Hashtag Obama's great big boner.
And we'll jump back into this with some more that are up on the internet right now. Not hiring the porn industry, they would have straightened out. Hashtag Obama's great big boner. Clayton says, leaving Kenya. Hashtag Obama's great big boner. Going 2 for 3 against Romney in presidential debates. Hashtag Obama's great big boner. He had as much man ass as a gay old straight man. Hashtags Obama's great big boner. Believing in his fellow man. Hashtag Obama's great big boner. Let's go over to our buddy, Dickie Jr.
Sucking fuck, hashtag great Obama's big boner. I fucked it up. Sorry, W.
Derek, you're on the Ron and Fez show.
Maybe the NSA can watch it. Hashtag guy bang. Hashtag Obama's big boner.
Randy, you're on the Ron and Fez show.
You didn't build that. Obama's great big boner.
I forgot that. Jimbo, you're on the Ron and Fez show. Jimbo.
My bad. Blueberries, a standalone fruit. Hashtag Obama's great big boner.
Bernard, you're on the Ron and Fez show.
Goddamn, look, I got all these white people clapping for me. Hashtag
All right, that's
Obama's
fucking
great big
racism.
boner.
That's racism. Singing Al Green, hashtag Obama's great big boner. Not being able to negotiate it with John Boehner, hashtag's great big boner. How many brothers do I have? Hashtag Obama's great big boner. Let Putin steal a Patriots Super Bowl ring. Hashtag a Obama's great big boner. And Chris Stanley, we're going to need something big for this because, ladies and gentlemen, we are now trending on Twitter. Trending. That quickly, the Ron and Fez show and the world's funniest listeners are able to trend on Twitter. Stephen Knight sent this in to us. Conair Curl and then hashtag Obama's great big boner are both trending in New York right now. 866 Ron Zero Fez. 866 Ron Zero Fez. Be proud of yourselves. Time.com picks you up yesterday. Today, within a couple of minutes, you trend on the internet. You trend on Twitter. Strongest callers, strongest tweeters, strongest commenters in radio. 866 Ron Zero Fez. 866 Ron Zero Fez. It's Obama's great big boner. Is the hashtag Obama's great big boner. That's the game we're playing today for a prize.
Hashtag Obama's great big boner could make you a winner on Ron and Fez's Million Days of Christmas. Makes me feel like a winner every day. Tweet what you think was Barack Obama's great big boner. Hashtag Obama's great big boner. Make sure you add at the iBang for a chance to win Season 1 of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, signed by Sarah Michelle Gellar. It's Ron and Fez's Million Days of Christmas.
I'll read a couple more up here. The Kenyan flag is flying from hashtag Obama's great big boner. Speaks like he's at church. Hashtag Obama's great big boner. Screwing up the future for Cory Booker. Hashtag Obama's great big boner. Ordering lettuce wraps for dinner. Hashtags Obama's great big boner. Tea party. Hashtag Obama's great big boner. Here's Darren. Darren in North Carolina.
Yes, sir. My goddamn health insurance just doubled. Hashtag Obama's great big boner.
Sharon in Texas. What do you got for me?
Michelle's gaping asshole. Hashtag Obama's great big
Oh, my God. Rob in Brooklyn.
Yeah, to Fez Watley, it's a 9. Hashtag Obama's great big boner.
Here's Doug in Boston. Doug in Boston. Let's go over to Sam in Austin.
Hey, hope floats, but my government sinks.
Here's Doug. Doug, go ahead, buddy.
Yeah, Kenya said she could fix my website. Didn't work out so well. Hashtag Obama's big boner.
Here's Chris. Chris, what do you got?
Obamacare's pushing it down our throats. Hashtag Obama's great big boner.
Blake in Oklahoma.
We set up the Obamacare website using GoDaddy. Hashtag Obamacare.
Here's Chris in Columbus.
When playing basketball with the UNC Hoops team, the only black man to ever tuck his T-shirts into his sweats. Hashtag Obama's great big boner.
That was a bad day. Chris.
Ask not what your country can do for you, but ask what you can do for hashtag Obama's great big boner.
866 Ron Zero Fez. 866 Ron Zero Fez. Trusting a Canadian company to set up his healthcare website. They don't know computers, just hockey. Hashtag Obama's great big boner. Not using just for men for his premature gray. Hashtag Obama's great big boner. Not smoking blues. Hashtag Obama's great big boner. Reading emails with the NSA. Hashtag Obama's great big boner. Black girls supported me. Hashtag Obama's great big boner. The Hawaiian Islands on our backs. Hashtag Obama's great big boner. We're now on the NSA watch list. Hashtags Obama's great big boner. The NSA not doing a good enough job of staying undercover. Hashtags Obama's great big boners. And you already know that we're popping when the scam sites start to throw it in. So the second that anything starts to go viral, those cheat sites pop in there as quick as they can.
Yeah, they're bots. They just see what's trending and then they start tweeting anything that's trending. So that's the beginning.
Obamacare ran out of server juice. Hashtag Obama's great big boner. Wearing mom jeans seems to come up quite a bit. Hashtag Obama's great big boner. Now I'm already loving this. What the fuck is this? Hashtag Obama's great big boner. Anthony Cumia doesn't care for hashtag Obama's great big boner. 866 Ron Zero Fez. Chris, what do you got for me, buddy?
Yeah, I'm going to have to say that Obama acts more professional with white people than he does with black people. Hashtag Obama's big giant boner.
Chris, you might be the dumbest, most boring fucking caller we've ever had. Bobby, you're on the Ron and Fez show.
Asking Candy to play the tape. Hashtag Obama's great big boner.
Kelly, you're on the Ron and Fez show.
Who?
That's you, Kelly, in South Dakota.
Dennis Rodman. Hashtag Obama's great big boner.
Jim in Canada.
Ronnie, it's Jimmy. Breaking news. Rob Ford. He's got another video out. Go to TorontoStar.com.
Here's Shane. Shane, you're on the Ron and Fez show. Shane. Hey, Peter in Long Island.
Closing Gitmo. Hashtag Obama's great big boner.
Tom in Kansas.
Chris is the dumbest caller on the Ron and Fez show. Hashtag Obama's great big boner.
Terry in North Carolina.
Jerry? Yes.
Yeah.
Stimulate me. Hashtag Obama big fat boner.
Nick, you're on the Ron and Fez show.
Hello.
Go ahead, buddy.
Yeah, green energy's the future. Hashtag Obama's great big boner.
Hashtag contest happening right now for Ron and Fez's Million Days of Christmas. Hashtag Obama's great big boner. Tweet about Obama's great big boner mistake with hashtag Obama's great big boner and add at the iBang so we can all see your hashtag Obama's great big boner and take a good hard look at it. Up for grabs, Season 1 of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, signed by Sarah Michelle Gellar. Blessed holidays from the Million Days of Christmas from the Ron and Fez show.
I'm loving going through here, looking at people going, what the hell does this even mean? Why is this up here? Those are my favorites. Just when regular people, not us, catch on when we bum rush the hashtag on Twitter. I will shut down Guantanamo. Hashtag Obama's great big boner. Being Muslim. Hashtag Obama's great big boner. Not playing himself in Olympus has fallen. Hashtag Obama's great big boner. I got nothing. I just wanted to say hashtag Obama's great big boner. Giving money to the auto industry to save Detroit. Hashtag Obama's great big boner. Being not Sam's father. Hashtag Obama's great big boner. Plugging up the Gulf oil leak with hashtag Obama's great big boner. 866 Ron Zero Fez. 866 Ron 0 Fez. Put the retweets up. It helps this thing keep going viral. And off we go. Let's go to Brian. Brian, what do you got for me? Brian in PA.
Fez is offended by hashtag Obama's great big boner.
Chris in NC.
Wanting to screw the country any way he can. Hashtag Obama's great big boner.
Jeremy in Florida.
Yeah, IRS steals everything, including hashtag Obama's great big boner.
Kevin in Virginia.
Fez wants to play with hashtag Obama's great big boner.
I'm going to read off a couple more of these. I'm really good at killing people. Hashtag Obama's great big boner. He made blueberries a standalone fruit. Hashtag Obama's great big boner.
Man.
Claims to be from Hawaii, but spells it Hawaii. Hashtag Obama's great big boner. Here's someone who just writes, what the fuck? Laughing my ass off at hashtag Obama's great big boner. I love when the people from the outside try to figure out what we're doing. Thinks he made cumsies with hashtag Obama's great big boner. Not hiring the Geek Squad for the healthcare website. Hashtag Obama's great big boner. All up on Twitter right now. Let's keep this thing viral. Let's go over to Randy. Randy, you're on the Ron Fez show. Randy. All right, take it to Joe. Joe, you're on the Ron Fez show.
Married a black woman. Hashtag Obama's great big blunder.
Boner. We wouldn't be laughing if it was blunder. Craig, you're on the Ron Fez show.
Pitching a tent in Syria. Hashtag Obama's great big boner.
Chris in North Carolina.
What made Fez's cat say cookie? Hashtag Obama's great big boner.
Pete in Pittsburgh.
You guys bomb Syria. I've got a tea time tomorrow. Hashtag boner.
Retards. Brad, you're on the Ron and Fez show.
I don't want my daughter burdened with a hashtag Obama's great big boner.
Blowfish.
Magnum condoms only for Obama's great big boner.
Vino in Texas.
Pepper and Dave circle jerking with Obama's hashtag Obama's great big boner.
That's true. That actually happened.
We don't circle jerk.
You guys do.
No.
And that's why that's really a fucking good joke. Commenting on Trayvon, hashtag Obama's great big boner. Not funding NASA, hashtag Obama's great big boner. Hashtag great big boner is trending right now. This will probably be the highlight of my day. Hashtag Obama's great big boner. What the hell is this? And why am I so interested in it? Benghazi. Hashtag Obama's great big boner. Daughter's not nearly as drunk or as fun as GW's. Hashtag Obama's great big boner. 866 Ron 0 Fez. The beer summit worked and racism is over. Hashtag Obama's great big boner. Pushing the electric car. Hashtag Obama's great big boner. I'm scared to know why this is trending. Hashtag Obama's great big boner. Let's go and eat some half slices. Obama. Hashtag Obama's great big boner. Hey, that's not a drone. It's hashtag Obama's great big boner. Jim, Philly, you're on the Ron and Fez show.
I can barely wrap my purple lips around hashtag Obama's great big boner.
Justin in Utah.
Being born. Hashtag Obama's great big boner.
Brian in Chicago.
If you like your foreskin, you can keep your foreskin. Hashtag Obama's great big boner.
Jay in Alabama.
Making pregnant women faint. Hashtag Obama's great big boner.
Rick.
At the airport with a giant teddy bear. Hashtag Obama's great big boner.
Steve.
Barry the Nerd finally gets to hang with cool bros like Jay-Z. Hashtag Obama's great big boner.
Mark in Utah.
I'll smoke these cools if I want to. Obama's great big boner.
Hiking up Anthony Cumia's taxes. Hashtag Obama's great big boner. If I had a son, he'd look like Trayvon. Hashtag Obama's great big boner. Are we basically saying our president has a huge dick? Hashtag Obama's great big boner. What is this? Hashtag Obama's great big boner. Be afraid. Be very afraid of hashtag Obama's great big boner. How's that hoopy changing thing working for you? Hashtag Obama's great big boner. The only weapon America needs. SEAL Team 6, nukes, and hashtag Obama's great big boner. Hashtag Obama's great big boner. What the actual fuck? Not announcing Bin Laden's death at a P-Funk concert. Hashtag Obama's great big boner.
The Ron and Fez Show celebrates the million days of Christmas. Today we're giving away Season 1 of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, signed by Sarah Michelle Gellar, with hashtag Obama's Great Big Boner. Get your hashtag Obama's Great Big Boner into Twitter now with @TheIBang to win. It's the million days of Christmas from the Ron and Fez Show.
866 Ron Zero Fez. 866 Ron Zero Fez. This girl just writes, even if you don't get it, hashtag it anyway. When I saw hashtag Obama's great big boner was trending, and then he just put some shock face of like old school stuff. This is hysterical that we could pull this off. You guys are amazing, dudes. This audience is so damn funny.
Dominating.
Why do we do anything else but this? Not changing his name to Obama Lion. Hashtag Obama's great big boner. That is so funny. Here's Mike. Mike, you're on the Ron and Fez Show.
Speak softly, but carry the hashtag Obama's great big boner.
Tim, what do you got? Tim.
Yeah, Hillary fucking Obama to get back at Bill. Hashtag Obama's great big boner.
I love some of these. Why is hashtag Obama's great big boner even freaking trending right now? WTF? Now we know what kind of hashtags interest libs. No, not ones with information and facts, but trash like this. That's from They're Out of Control in D.C., who probably tries to trend every single fucking day. Here's one I love. Still angry he didn't get the lead in Django. Hashtag Obama's great big boner. Why is hashtag Obama's great big boner trending right now? This has to be stopped. Why is this trending? Why is it trending? Never mind. I don't want to know. Why is this trending? I'm heading to the White House liquor store. You guys need anything? Hashtag Obama's great big boner. More people freaking out. Why is this trending? Did I miss something? Otto and George came up with cultivating the Puerto Rican vampire look. Hashtag Obama's great big boner. Ever wonder what was on a person's mind when he or she started a hashtag like Obama's great big boner? Was it an insult or a fantasy? This is fucking so funny. Since my whole TL consists of the bomb threat, let's just take a moment to look at these trends with hashtag Obama's great big boner at the top of them. That is so goddamn funny. Marion Barry did lines off of hashtag Obama's great big boner. Shrekalov came up with I'll show you pork-filled legislature. Hashtag Obama's great big boner. Talk about inflation. Hashtag Obama's great big boner. That's Liz Sets Fire crushing it again. Let's go to John, West Virginia. You're on the Ron Fez show.
Making white bitches wet themselves. Hashtag Obama's great big boner.
Ivan in California.
Chris Stanley, three deep throats. Hashtag Obama's great big boner.
Mike in Jersey. That is what he sounds like with deep throats.
I never sucked dick.
Mike, what do you got?
Got some Borglums out to carve something into Abraham Lincoln's mouth. Hashtag Obama's great big boner.
I love the amount of people wondering why this is trending. Here's Buck just writes, hashtag Obama's great big boner is trending. Well, welcome to America. Here's a guy who says, all right, this is against my better judgment, but I can't resist. Whose fingertips or fingerprints are going to be found on hashtag Obama's great big boner?
I'm glad he didn't resist.
Steve from Philly tried to start trouble. So many people going, why the hell is this trending? Here, Kim Berger writes, this hashtag makes me want to throw up. I hope we didn't get the long form version of hashtag Obama's great big trending. We get it. A red tie. Hashtag Obama's great big boner. That is so goddamn funny. And what are these bot sites that you were talking about, Chris?
These are basically accounts set up, and they have they have a code that will look through what's trending on Twitter, and then it's set up to automatically then retweet those hashtags, so that when you search for the hashtag, they come up, so that the people will know about their Twitter account or whatever. It's just spam. It's Twitter spam. A human isn't doing this. Someone just set up a Twitter account, wrote some code, and now it's
and they tell people how they can get more real followers that they don't know.
Yeah, exactly. You can get like 5,600 more followers.
Here's a hot redheaded girl who thinks it's awesome that this is trending. I bet you do, honey. I bet you do. Let's raise the debt ceiling with hashtag Obama's great big boner. So many people are just laughing their asses off that this is trending. If you can't think of one, just retweet to keep them up there. It's one of the big games on the Ron Fez show, the hashtag game. And this time it's hashtag Obama's great big boner.
It's Ron Fez's Million Days of Christmas. We're stuffing stockings, we're nogging eggs, and we're hashtagging Obama's great big boner. Today, your chance to win Season 1 of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, signed by Sarah Michelle Gellar. With hashtag Obama's great big boner, make sure to add at the iBang on Ron and Fez show's Million Days of Christmas.
All right, every time you do the word show, it sounds differently. We ought to go back and pull them, because this one was shows, as if you were slipping on it. 866-RON-0-FEZ. 866-RON-0-FEZ. Having a beer summit, not doing a keg stand. Hashtag Obama's great big boner. I smoked crack in a limo with hashtag Obama's great big boner. I'm willing to negotiate with anyone. Hashtag Obama's great big boner. I smoked behind Michelle's back. Hashtag Obama's great big boner. Taking my family out of Chicago. Hashtag Obama's great big boner. No prison time for bank executives. Hashtag Obama's great big boner. Calls Kanye West a jackass but can't run a website. Hashtag Obama's great big boner. Hangs out with Joe Biden. Hashtag Obama's great big boner. And ha ha ha, I fooled Whitey. Hashtag Obama's great big boner. Never appearing on an Unmasked. Hashtag Obama's great big boner. Trevor, you're on the Ron and Fez show. Mike in Youngstown. Phil in Connecticut. Kansas, you're on the Ron and Fez show.
Nancy Pelosi choked on hashtag Obama's great big boner.
Joe in Louisiana.
Hey, this is change the American people can believe in. Hashtag Obama's great big boner.
Brad in New York.
Hey, how come I can't get blown in the Oval Office? Hashtag Obama's great big boner.
Niall in New Orleans, you're on the Ron and Fez show.
Bigger than the dolphin, smaller than a killer whale. Obama's great big boner.
Mark, what do you got, pal?
I thought Fez was moving to Canada, but I got fucked with hashtag Obama's great big boner.
Christopher in Illinois.
The leader of the free world. Hashtag Obama's great big boner.
It's very, very strong. Took it trending, Fez. Took it trending today. Chris Stanley, you ready to... It's trending in America?
It's one of the top trends in America right now.
Unbelievable.
In the entire country.
Nice work, people.
All right, when the guys in terrestrial sit around and go, where are the cool shows at? It's Sirius XM, because we're able to sit here, play around with one stupid phrase, and find yourself trending in America with hashtag Obama's great big boner. It is the Ron and Fez show. 866 Ron 0 Fez. 866 Ron 0 Fez. His inability to successfully pull out of the Middle East or Michelle, hashtag Obama's great big boner. We'll take a few more of these. I mean, I feel like I want to shut it down, but I have to say, when you start to trend in America, how can you not keep the bit going? More than anything else now, I like reading the non-SiriusXM subscribers trying to figure out how the hell this thing trended.
It's amazing. That's the best part.
And I was wondering if they would even keep us off, if Twitter would, shut us down on that. No, they loved it. All right, here's someone named Glimmer who said, Obama's hashtag great big boner is trending worldwide. And I just thought of Ryan Allen for whatever reason. Sorry, Ryan Allen. That is fucking hysterical. Who started this anyway? Hashtag Obama's great big boner. Why is hashtag Obama's great big boner trending? Here's someone named Marcus. Hashtag Obama's great big boner is probably the best trend I've ever seen on Twitter. I don't always join in hashtags, but when I do, it's hashtag Obama's great big boner. Now, here's the weird thing about it. The White House has already picked up on this.
What the
Carney's
hell?
having a press conference as we speak.
And it's one of those situations of, is this something bad or is this something that we can use? They might be like, hey, the kids are loving it over there on Twitter. Setting the right demos. God damn, that's funny. Someone just writes, no, I bet it's tiny. What type of trend is this? So goddamn funny. Stay cloudy. Why is this trending? LOL. Here's someone named Miss Cappuccino who says, I'd love to take care of hashtag Obama's great big boner.
Oh my God.
Potential Twitter shareholders are discovering hashtag Obama's great big boner.
They do go public today.
I use the whole sheep intestine for protection. Hashtag Obama's great big boner. Fez called it crazy, but why isn't he outraged by that? Hashtag Obama's great big boner. The thing that got him to Harvard. Hashtag Obama's great big boner. I don't want the prize. I hate Buffy, but I'm not going to stop. Thank you, Amanda. That's so goddamn funny. I love the people who do not understand how something like this could happen. It's bigger than a Philly hoagie. Hashtag Obama's great big boner. Driving Republican women crazy. Hashtag Obama's great big boner. More people want to find out why this is trending. In America, I know some people are saying worldwide. So Chinese people are trying to figure out why this is happening. Kevin, you're on the Ron and Fez show.
Said Paul McCartney was too big for O&A. Hashtag Obama's big boner.
Here's Jay. Jay, you're on the Ron and Fez show.
I'm going downtown, gonna see my girl, I'm gonna sing her a song, gonna show her my ding-dong.
Somebody old enough to remember Tommy Chong. Hashtag Obama's great big boner. Tim in San Francisco.
Weapon of mass destruction, Obama's great big boner.
Charlie in Santa Cruz.
None of your fucking business. Hashtag Obama's great big boner.
John in Virginia.
Washington's bull. Hashtag Obama's great big boner.
Jason in Detroit.
The real stimulus package is hashtag Obama's great big boner.
Let's go to Jim in New York.
Remember Tommy Chong. Hashtag Obama.
Here's, let me go over here to Ben in Chicago.
Hey guys, what is fucked up Michelle Obama from the front and my HMO from the ass? Obama's great big boner.
Here's a little lady named Allie who says, I can't even understand how this is trending. Ghetto Fabulous says, thank you to hashtag Obama's great big boner. Of course, Twitter is worth $25 billion. Hashtag Obama's great big boner. These are my favorites. Shut down, hashtag Obama's great big boner. Hashtag Obama's great big boner is trending? What the heck? Performing this year's Super Bowl show, hashtag Obama's great big boner. Funniest trend ever? Give yourselves a hand, by the way, Ron Fez listeners. Fox and Friends in the morning, hashtag Obama's great big boner. Best hashtag ever. You could put somebody's eye out with hashtag great big boner. Jebediah Kibble says, Ron Bennington, read this on the radio. There you have it, Jebediah. You got it. A dream came true for you. There are 14 Cubans floating in on hashtag Obama's great big boner. Black Rock Coalition, hashtag Obama's great big boner. Who needs deep throat when I got Snowden? Hashtag Obama's great big boner. Viagra not covered in healthcare exchanges. Hashtag Obama's great big boner.
It's Christmas time, a time of love and family, and beating out other Ron and Fez listeners for great prizes. Try to out-tweet everyone with hashtag Obama's great big boner and with at the iBang. Today we're giving out Season 1 of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, signed by Sarah Michelle Gellar. It's Christmas! Don't be a loser! Tweet hashtag Obama's great big loser and win today on Ron and Fez's Million Days of Christmas.
Kyle, you're on the Ron and Fez show.
Hey, BL says Jimmy Schubert can't compare to hashtag Obama's great big boner.
Let me tell you something about Jimmy Schubert's legendary hog. He's a stand-up comedian, but you have to pay him like a comedy team. They each demand to be paid. Steve, you're on the Ron and Fez show.
Hey, are we Todd or Fez? Asks Obama's hashtag great big boner.
I just love some of the people trying to figure out why this is trending.
Worldwide.
Here's one that just simply said, hashtag Obama's great big boner. Yep, that's right. It's trending. WTF. Letting the SiriusXM merger happen. Hashtag Obama's great big boner. Dropping loads of hope. Hashtag Obama's great big boner. Morgan Davis, why is this trending? Why? Why the hell is the next one from Daniel? Why the hell is Obama's great big boner trending? Worldwide? Here's someone named Big Spooky Tits who says, hashtag Obama's great big boner. I'm glad this is trending. The world needs to know. AE Radio cannot believe that this is a worldwide trend. Congratulations, Ron and Fez. Everyone is hopping on hashtag Obama's Great Big Boner. Here's one. I mean, what is the actual meaning behind this trend? What are you guys trying to say about him? Here's Michael just says, we're all fucked. Hashtag Obama's Great Big Boner. Jay Cutler's groin injury would have been much worse if he had hashtag Obama's Great Big Boner. Well, I'm going to take a little break here, but we'll keep trending along. It's up on hashtag Obama's Great Big Boner. You guys, the Ron and Fez audience. The Ron and Fez audience. And, you know, you have to sit around and talk about all these social media people who try to trend things and say this and that.
It's their life's work.
You just need a funny premise and really the greatest people in radio listening to your show. And it pops, it rocks it. There's always that little nervous thing of, are we going to trend? All right, we're trending in New York City. Okay, trending in America. I believe this is our first worldwide trend. And it's only the third time we've done this?
Yep, that's it.
Third time we've done this a little bit, and it's trended every time. Always really, really funny. We'll break here. We will be right back in just a couple of minutes with lots more. Keep on trending for hashtag Obama's Great Big Boner, because I just love the people who have no idea how this went down. All the WTFs are my favorite ones of all. They do not understand how this could trend worldwide. It's the Ron and Fez Show.
You're enjoying the Ron and Fez Show on SiriusXM's Opie and Anthony channel. More in moments.